Welcome to the Hidden Truth Show and our deep dive into the transgender movement. What you're about to see is a clip of our interview with a transgender priest. Her name is Gillian Klee. She is an Episcopal priest at the Constance Abbey in Memphis. And there, she has also been providing guidance to people struggling with their gender. This was one of our favorite interviews because it had a special twist in the middle. She had somebody helping set up the interview. His name is Reed. Reed was the one that helped us schedule the interview and set up the audio, video, and so on. And we thought we wouldn't see Reed again. But in the middle of the interview, when we were talking about her assisting people with transitioning, Reed suddenly came back into the picture. We were shocked with what we heard next. We're excited to bring it to you. Hope you enjoy it. So going back to the response of the church, did you ultimately leave a church and join this new church? Am I right about that after your transition?
I'm still an Episcopal priest in 2 dioceses. And I'm sticking with it. I've met affirming priests. I haven't met one that gave me a hard time. So, yeah, and I've counseled with priests of the church that I've been attending.
Have you, since you transitioned, had the ability to counsel any other people struggling with gender dysphoria?
Yes.
And is that other priests?
No, they're mostly lay people.
Was that Reed waving?
Yeah, no. I only wave because I am that person, and so But no, I think that we're fine on time. But,
but you waved because you're that person that she's counseling.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. I don't want to get involved in y'all's conversation. But yeah, I am trans. I'm currently 6 months in the HRT. I'm looking to become a priest someday after divinity school. So I look to Mother Gillian as an inspiration to me, right? Because she's already kind of walked the path that I'm going and am walking right now.
Wow.
So that's also why I'm very excited about this opportunity, right? Because anytime I get to share Mother Gillian's story is an opportunity to share the story that I am very passionate about.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for being open about that. I had no idea, and that definitely adds an interesting dimension to the conversation. So bottom line, Reed, you are in the process of transitioning.
Yes. Yeah. I'm currently 6 months in, and it's funny because, because I have a lot of experience speaking. I did public speaking when I was an undergrad. I competed in mock trial. So I have a very strong male speaking voice. It's funny because I'm going to be going to voice therapy after this, but, I'll work on that. And that's something that will come with time. But yeah, right now I'm in the process. And, I'm very happy with where I'm at because I'm in a community with someone like Mother Gillian who is able to kind of be this trailblazer to set the standard that I can try and live up to, right?
What about, I'm just curious, if you don't mind me asking, these questions I'm asking about childhood traumas, is that something that you think resonates with you as part of your childhood?
I wouldn't say as much. I had a very interesting family dynamic because my mother, she did have problems drinking when she was younger. I will be completely upfront about that. And I think that she's upfront about it as well. But I'm not sure if that necessarily impacted this particular issue, right? I've thought on that a lot. I've prayed on that a lot. And trust me, I've been asked about that a lot in therapy. So I've definitely visited this issue. But no, I had a very loving father who really loved me more than I thought he would because he's not my biological father. He and my mother married when I was 1, right? And he's been absolutely wonderful throughout my entire life. And, I've had some conversation with him, and he's aware that I am trans, and he's open and welcoming to me. And my mother is too. She's a very interesting person. Definitely wears the pants in my household, or my parents' household. But yeah, I wouldn't say that, at least from my perspective, plays as much of a role in me being trans, right? I feel like that's just more of an innate trait of my person, right? Just something that is and always has been and always will be.
What about, do you agree with Gillian's statement that, you know, the dysphoria is something that you want to get resolved one way or the other, and that it really doesn't matter which way it gets resolved, you just want it resolved?
Well, I mean, yes, but I do want to make sure, because I tried doing everything I could to resolve it, and I think I did something very similar to Mother Gillian, right? You know, I went through the life, I did everything I thought I should. Like, when I was an undergrad, I was actually engaged for a while. I was top of my class at Rhodes College. I was competing nationally in mock trial. I even modeled a little bit. Like, I had what would be a great life, and I was still unhappy, right? So I resonate a lot with what Mother Gillian said, in that I felt like I needed a change, and that this was the change. Mm-hmm. And now dysphoria is, like, it's a little bit every day, but it is so much better now. Like, I wake up and I'm happy, and that wasn't the way it was before.
Because you know you're now on the path to resolving it once and for all.
Exactly.
Right. But yeah, you know, your story is similar, and going back to Sabrina again, it's a really great interview if you get a chance to listen to Sabrina's story. But yeah, she tried everything to suppress those feelings and be as manly as possible, perhaps, to really put down those feelings. And none of it worked.
You were in a fraternity. I actually was as well, for a little while. So I completely, I resonate with that. And I was. A lot of people would look at me and say I was like the epitome of masculinity. You know, I was even like, in my hometown, the high school football hero, you know? Like, I went and I did all that, but this was always there. And that's a sin that I have to bear, because I got to deal with my relationships in the past. I have to come to terms with them. But it's something that has to be done, because I don't want to go my entire life and have my parents die and not have them know who I am.
Let me ask like a crazy, hypothetical, simplistic question, and that is, if you could snap your fingers and instantly have the dysphoria resolved and now it's gone, but you're going to live now as a trans woman, or you're going to live in your biological sex, which would you choose?
Trans woman. Instantly. Because, and I'll tell you why. Yes, this has been hard on me, and yes, it's made my life very difficult for me personally, but it has also had probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, effect on creating the person that I am today. And I'm very proud of the person I am today, just like I am proud of Mother Gillian, because she is a wonderful person, and we're both doing wonderful work here in Memphis. And I'm not sure if I didn't have this burden to bear, that I would have gotten to this point. In one of Paul's letters, even, because I've been reading a lot of scripture on this, there's a passage where he talks about the afflictions that we have and how we are given them by God to make us stronger and to prepare the ministry of God on this earth. And that's what I like to live and believe, that God made me this way so that I could be a better person and so I could help others in the same situation.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective. And look, it's all about happiness at the end of the day, right? I mean, without happiness, what is life?
Exactly. And I think we're both pretty happy right now. What do you think, Mother Gillian?
I think we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then back to the therapy, because again, I'm going to go to it because we did interview a couple people about this that really believe in this therapy resolving childhood traumas. That's not something, it sounds like, that you've necessarily tried, but it's also not something that you necessarily feel that you want to go through. You're happy on the course that you're on now.
Me speaking personally?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I feel like I am. And again, so that didn't really exist as much, or maybe it did and I wasn't aware of it, but I grew up in a small town in Ohio, right, where the thought process was, for me as a kid growing up, because this was always there. I didn't have a name for it. I mean, I was a kid. I couldn't put a name on it like I could now, but it was always there. But I knew, right, because I wasn't a popular kid. I was real awkward. I mean, dealing with this, you can imagine me being awkward. And I was bullied a lot for it. And so I knew that if this ever got the light of day to anyone in my hometown, that it would be the death of me, you know? And so to me, it was literally life or death. And so, no, I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anyone. My mother knew a little bit, right? Because she was able to, you know, I live with her. She was able to glean some things from living with me. And she's told me that over the years, right? But that has never left between us for as long as I was in my hometown. And to some extent today, it still hasn't. And I'm still working on that. It's easier now that I am away from there. But to answer your question again, no, I don't think that I would have wanted to go through that kind of therapy because it wouldn't have helped me when I was younger. And really, I've always known who I am. It was just a matter of me kind of getting up the courage to act on that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a therapist now.
I do have a therapist now, and I have great people in my life to help me. I have a great support system here at Constance Abbey, Mother Gillian being at the center of it all. And it's so helpful to have that support system, but they support me in being who I am, right? I know exactly what I want to do with my life. And I have Mother Gillian here to support me in what I want to do with my life.
And you don't sound nervous at all about the impending surgery.
Huh. No, I'm excited. It's a fun adventure, you know? That's the way you gotta look at it. You gotta be positive about this. I mean, if everything was gloom and doom, then I might as well have not transitioned and stayed in depression, right? Like, this is supposed to be happy.
Yeah. Mother Gillian, hearing this, I mean, you probably, in the days when you were Reed's age, totally different times as far as the issue of transgenderism. I mean, describe for us the difference between when you were his age and now.
Of course, the only transgender person I knew of back then was Christine Jorgens.
Who was?
The former George Jorgensen of the Marine Corps.
And do you remember learning about that and having a certain reaction to it?
Yes.
Which was?
That may be where I have to go.
But if the climate were as it is today, you think you would have done things differently?
Yes, I probably would have transitioned earlier.
Mm-hmm. And saved yourself some suffering.
Yes.
Reed, what about you? Do you deal with depression?
I mean, yes. I dealt with it in a very different way, I think, just because I was always depressed, but I really looked to the people around me. And I resonate with what Mother Gillian said earlier, because I wasn't focused on making myself happy, right? And I mean, I really, because I knew if I wanted to make myself happy, that would mean transitioning, and that wasn't an option on the table when I was younger. So what I did was I focused on making other people happy, right? I tried to be the best student, the best leader, the best, football player, this, that, and the other. But I mean, so for as far as making other people happy, right now I'm trying to have a change in mindset. And it's hard, right? Because I've been focused on trying to make other people happy for my entire life. But I came to the conclusion that if you keep doing that, then you can make the entire world happy. But if you can't look at yourself in the mirror, then it doesn't matter, And I couldn't look at myself in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. And how old are you now?
I am 22.
Gillian, what has it meant to you to be able to counsel Reed?
Reed is a great person with obviously more tech savvy than I have to set this up for me. And he's just a great person. And he does an important work here at the Abbey, and faithful Episcopalian.
Well, God bless you both. I
You
thank you
too.
guys so much for your time. Incredible story. Reed, thank you for sharing that. Wasn't expecting that, but really, really valuable to hear your story also. Thank you for watching this excerpt from the Hidden Truth Show podcast. If you want to listen to the whole podcast, please check out the Hidden Truth Show podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.